Are you one of those people that sit down and look at your life? You feel like your life has no sense of direction? Do you look around you and see all of your peers doing so well? Seems like their life is put together. Seems like they know exactly what they are put on earth to do. And yet you feel so lost and left behind. I can understand that feeling. And trust me, all of those feelings are very, very much valid. Hello friends, welcome to the Wholesome Rave Podcast. I have one message for you all today in today's episode, and that is stop stressing. What is meant for you will find you. But in today's episode, we're going to talk about all of the things that makes you feel that way and why you shouldn't feel that way, and how to overcome this feeling of helplessness, how to stop stressing, how to worry less, and take comfort in the fact that you are exactly where you're meant to be in this moment. What is meant for you will definitely find you. Let me start off in this podcast by talking about these feelings. Think of it like you're in a new city and you don't have a compass, you have no maps, yet you find yourself in this unknown, strange place, and you want to get out of this place. You find it very interesting, very intriguing, but also very nerve-wracking. Being in this place, it's not a place where you feel comfortable, but it's a place you want to explore. And that's one thing I want to let us know in today's episode. We humans, we are explorers. We are placed in this life literally to go on a long life adventure. And not everybody gets it. Yeah, not everybody understands that this life is a journey. Some people want to have a sense of focal point in this journey called life. And there are some people who have seemed to found like a formula for navigating through their journey of life. And there are some people who haven't yet found that formula. They just feel confused and not unsure of what to do. And there are people who just go with the flow of things. They get washed away in the wind and washed away in the oceans. They get lost completely because they do not know how or where to begin this journey called life. Well, if you find yourself feeling stuck or in a place where you are not comfortable with everything going on around you, there are a couple of things that you could do that could help you stop worrying and stressing over your future or what this journey of life is meant to do for you, or what you're meant to do for this journey called life. I really love this quote from John Lennon, and it says, "There is nowhere you can be that isn't where you're meant to be." And look at it, if you look at that statement, it is so true. Wherever you find yourself right now, that's where you're meant to be in this moment, in this time. And it doesn't help much trying to change that perspective or perception. It doesn't help much. You could try everything to change that, but at the end of the day, you're still in that place and in that moment. And in this journey called life, if there's one thing that I have noticed, some people think their destinies are in their hands. Well, I do think our destinies are already pre-written. You could make stops along the way in that journey, but you have only one destination, one final destination, and that's already written in the books. So take, for example, you are on a journey and you find yourself in this strange place without a map. You find yourself in an unknown city. You find yourself in a new country, and you find all of these things super exciting. You want to go on this adventure, but you don't want to get lost in this adventure. And that is where self-introspection comes in. Self-introspection is when you look at things in a different perspective. When you look at things in a different light. So whenever something's going on in your life that you're not really comfortable with, you never really planned for these things to happen to you, and you're faced with these circumstances, instead of worrying and stressing about this, take some time off, take a step back, and reassess everything that has happened until that moment. You might not be able to change your destiny, but you could be able to make your destiny as a whole a lot more fun for you. And that's where I think we hold the power to change our destiny. It's to change the small details of that journey in a way you want it to go for yourself. In this journey called life, we make stops along the way. You can stop at a restaurant, like the example I was giving, and ask questions. Oh, I want to get to this place. And then you get directions to that place. But your destination at the end of the day is to one place. But at the end, you realize you have made several stops along the way. And how you embark on that journey determines how the journey at the end of the day feels to you. Was it worth it to me? Did I have fun going on this journey? Did I learn something new on this journey? That's what this journey life is all about. So even if you find yourself in a difficult place, even if you find yourself in a place where you really feel sad and you feel like giving up, take some time to not stress too much about it. Find comfort in the fact that your life is already predestined and that things would happen when it should. It's good to stop and think about this. Take a moment to ask yourself questions. Why am I worrying about this particular thing? What is causing my suffering? And in some cases, you might not know what's causing your suffering. And that's because you haven't thought hard enough about your journey. Self-introspection is key. What it does to you is it helps you lay away your worries and your stress, and it helps you see the picture more clearly. You can see the stops and bumps in the journey. You can look at things in a different perspective. Ask yourself questions like, what would I have done differently to get a different result? Self-introspection allows you to look deeply inwards to yourself. Ask yourself where these desires and wanting is coming from. Why you have these desires. Why you have these needs that you want met in your life. Is it really necessary for you? Is it important in your journey? Do you need those things in your journey? Does it help you go further in your journey? If it doesn't, then you can make changes to those things. And if it does, then you can improve in that aspect. So these are the things we need to consider. We need to self-introspect. We need to look at things in a different light. This journey called life can be very tiring. It can be very, very depressing too. But it doesn't always have to be. And in these moments where you feel down and where you feel sad, self-introspection really helps. Because it lets you see things in a different light. It helps you realize that even though you did everything correctly, not everything was meant to happen in that way. Maybe there is an external energy or an external factor that made you fall short. Maybe And I do think there is, because in this fast-paced world of social media and AI that we live in, so many factors could really help dampen our excitement for this journey. Looking and comparing ourselves with other people, having so high expectations that literally feels like a burden to you. Many of us are afraid of embarking on our own personal journeys because we are so scared, and we fail to accept that our journey is different from everybody else's. Even if you're a twin, your journey is different from your twin. Even if you attended the same high school, it doesn't mean you're gonna land the same job. Think about it. So acceptance is really key. And what do I mean by acceptance? It's okay to self-introspect, but if you do not accept that your life is as it is, then you will have a very difficult time navigating through your life's decisions and life in general. So accepting that everything in your life is as it should. When you don't accept your life as it is, or accept that the things going on in your life is as it should, then you find yourself in a bubble of trying to fit into boxes of other people. You find yourself people pleasing. You find yourself compromising on your own ethics and on your own growth journey. You find yourself compromising a lot for other people. But once you accept that this is your life, and once you accept that your journeys and the stops and the bumps along the way, you play a partial role in that, and that some of it, the other half, is not within your palms, then you start to understand that life as a whole is a much more bigger picture. There is also an amazing quote that I came about from Marcus Aurelius, and it says, "Accept the things to which faith binds you, and love the people with whom faith brings you together, but do so with all your heart." Even though you find yourself in a place that is unknown, take comfort in the unknown. Embrace the idea that your life as it is not the source of your unhappiness, or where you find yourself is not the source of your unhappiness, but the source of your unhappiness is based or very much linked to your expectations and your desires. So how can you stop stressing and start to take more control over your own destiny and your journey? One of the ways you can do this is by mapping out your own blueprint. What do I mean by mapping out your own blueprint? What I mean by mapping out your own blueprint is, I want you to write down all of your values, all of the things that you do not want to compromise on, all of the things that you would like to accomplish for yourself. I need you to have this written down. This is gonna serve as your blueprint. This is gonna serve as your roadmap. Yes. Whenever you find yourself in situations where in this unknown place you have no compass, you have no map, what do? You create one for yourself. That's the first step to stop all of your worries and all of your stressing. Just create one for yourself. Write down all of the things you would like for yourself, and that includes all of your wants, all of your desires, but especially all of your boundaries and all of your set values, things you would not like to compromise on. And when I talk about wants and desires, some of the things that causes our suffering and our worries is because we have an endless expectation. We have an endless number of desires and expectations we want for ourselves. Because we look at other people's achievements and question ours. We look at other people's journey and wonder why it is that ours is not going in that same way. Everybody's journey is different. You need to realize that everyone's journey is not the same. And not everyone is taking the same road that you are on. Some people are coming from the north, some people are coming from the south, some people are coming from the west, some east. So realize that everyone's journey is different. And whenever you find yourself in a place where you don't know what next to do, I want you to remind yourself of one thing. Remind yourself that in that moment, in that place, and in that time, you are responsible for how you choose to respond to that situation. And what is the best way to respond to that situation? You respond by reminding yourself of what you want for yourself. And that's where you go back to the blueprint I was talking about. Your set values, your set goals. How much fun you want to have in your journey. How much of fun do you want to have in your journey? How many stops do you want to make in your journey? How far do you want to drive before taking each stop? These are things you need to look at and self-introspect on. And once you have this written down, I need you to accept that this is what you want for yourself, because just writing it down is not enough. Acceptance of your journey, the entirety of your journey, is very crucial to how much you can enjoy your journey. Because when you don't accept that, oh, I have written this, when you don't accept the journey before you start it, when you start that journey, you get confused. You keep taking off the responsibility and placing it on other people. When something happens, when your car breaks down, you blame it on the engine, you blame it on external circumstances, and you fail to take gratitude in the things that are going on in your life. And this brings me to my next point, which is appreciating how far you've come. Take gratitude very seriously in your journey. It's one of the key ways to avoid stressing. It's one of the key ways to find peace in your journey. Understanding that regardless of how many bumps you face along the way and how much struggle you face in your journey, you're grateful for how far you've come. And that's one thing I feel so many people lack in today's day and age. Everyone is so focused on what's the next thing to do that they fail to appreciate all of the things that they've experienced to get them to that point. When you look at the other side of things, being appreciative of where you are, feeling grateful of how far you've come, how much you have been able to achieve, no matter how long it took you to get to that point, just the fact that you feel grateful is gonna be an energy booster overall. It's gonna make you feel safe. It's gonna make you feel good about your journey. You start to see the small things you missed out on. You start to see the small things you overlooked that mattered. You start to see it. So keep a gratitude journal of everything good that happens in your journey, in your life. Keep a gratitude journal, no matter how small it is, because those are the things you would fall back to when you have those bad days, when you feel sad, when you feel like you're getting caught up in this cycle of worries and stressing of the unknown. Those are the things that would keep you grounded. Those are the things that would remind you of, like, hey, these are your journey. It's different from others. This is how things have happened. This is what you have done. This is what you have accomplished for yourself. And from then, you can start to form a new blueprint for how you would like to navigate through that difficult situation. It's that simple. It really is that simple. Everything that's happening in your life is meant to be. But how you respond to everything determines how the next phase of your journey would look like, how exciting it would be for you, how you respond to it. So these are some of the tips I wanted to share with you guys in today's episode. This is a really short one, but I just wanted to come on here and just talk to you guys about everything and how it doesn't help much stressing and worrying. I want you to take pride in the fact that your purpose in life is much more bigger than you can ever comprehend, and that not everything is clearer in the beginning, but things get clearer as you go. I want you to also take pride in your journey and realize that your journey is different from everybody else's journey. And also, I want you to understand that where you are right now, in this moment, in this time, is exactly where you should be. And instead of worrying and stressing about the things that you can't control, focus on your blueprint and focus on how you respond to certain things. And that's going to help you see some successes, and that's going to help you greatly improve the way you feel about your journey. I hope you really enjoyed listening through to this podcast. If you're listening through this podcast on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm your host, Favor Wilson. Don't forget to hit the like button. Don't forget to drop a review, drop a comment if you really enjoyed. It would really help this channel. And your reviews from the last episode was super amazing. Thank you guys so much for supporting, and thank you guys so much, because without you I wouldn't be making these kinds of video. I really enjoy making these kinds of video. This is a short one. I just wanted to come and share some of the things that I feel is really holding some of us back, and it feels very liberating to talk about this topic today. So I really appreciate the love on the last episode. And yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.